the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up! It's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me. It's not working out, maybe it's the chemistry. It's time to break up so I can make a better me. Better believe in your mind, cause it's everything. You can mold, shape, find almost anything. All it takes is some time and some clarity to find your identity. It's mind over everything. And when I feel like this, I'm immortal. 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 Don't be scared. Just look up. Don't be back. I won't stop, I'ma fight until there's nothing left. It's so what? You're gonna be hurting bad, cause I've been to hell and back. You don't wanna make me mad. I stay strong, you will never see me crack. And if you get in my way, you gonna feel the wrath. Gotta say it to my face while he's looking back. Mirror breaks after math, when I hate, I attack. I'm immortal. When I feel like this, I'm immortal. When I feel like this, I'm immortal. When I feel like this, I'm immortal. Don't be scared. Just look up. Don't be scared. Love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up! It's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me. It's not working out, maybe it's the chemistry. It's time to break up so I can make a better me. Better believe in your mind, cause it's everything. You can mold, shape, find almost anything. All it takes is some time and some clarity to find your identity. It's mind over everything. And when I feel like this, I'm immortal. 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 Don't be scared. Just look up. Don't be scared.
Welcome in, everybody, to Fantasy Pros. This is the Week 7 Stardom Situm live stream. It is me, Joey P, Joe Pizzapia, and with me is my good pal, Andrew Erickson, and we're going to take your questions. We're going to talk about what's going on in the NFL. We're also going to give you a nice hour of escapism and fantasy football, which everybody needs. So I hope everyone out there is having a good day. It's great to see all of our friends here back again. Andrew Erickson, it's great to see you, my friend. And it looks like Mac Jones, Monday night, might indeed be the quarterback, so no controversy. We haven't really talked much, you and I, about this controversy, so let's go. This is the time. Are you going to be sad to see Bailey Zappe go back to the backup role?
No, I'm just going to be sad that the Patriots don't get to play the Browns and the Lions every single week, because I think that's really what the that's definitely helped with Zappe's production. That they've played terrible defenses. He had plenty of time in the pocket to throw the ball, and if you're a competent quarterback and you have time in the pocket, like, you can make throws. Like, I would. There's no doubt in my mind that Mac Jones would have been having just as much success as Bailey Zappe has had the last 2 weeks under the same circumstances. So I think it's great that Zappe showed out, and you have a backup quarterback that you can rely on, and that if they have to turn to him again in the future, like, they have Mac Jones and Bailey Zappe locked up for the next 4 years.
Yeah.
So I like that. And if Zappe has already dramatically increased his trade value for the Patriots, so they could trade him for a 3rd-round pick. Like, they drafted him in the 4th round, so he's already paid off what they drafted to get him. So I'm happy how he's performed, but I'm also excited to get Mac Jones back under center.
Yeah, look, they've had a history of doing this. Bogman and I were talking about it last night on stages on the Discord channel, talking about going back to Ryan Mallett, trading him, right? Drafting quarterbacks, Jimmy Garoppolo, Jacoby Brissett. I mean, they've been able to do this. I don't know why more teams don't draft QBs and try to groom them a little bit and then sell them off. It seems like a pretty good
Joe,
business
that
to
would be because that would be smart.
That would be smart. Well, you know what else would be smart? Maybe drafting a weapon or two for the offense. That would be smart. Maybe taking George Pickens over Tyquan Thornton, but who's splitting hairs? Certainly not me. Certainly not me. Let's get to the Dallas Cowboys. Dak Prescott is back. That's a good thing, at least we think. Also, Dalton Schultz is back. Now, tight end is a wasteland and there's buys. Is it safe to Dalton Schultz again now that Dak has returned?
I think he's still too risky to play because he's also been dealing with an injury, which may have also influenced how his performance has been. So I want to try to hold him on my roster because if we do see the chemistry again with Dak Prescott that we saw last year, that we saw in week 1, then you're going to be looking at a tight end that you can rely on every single week because we know the tight end role in the Cowboys offense is great. They're playing on every single down. So I do want to try to stash Dalton Schultz. I need to see it first to make sure that he is 100% healthy because he's obviously been a ghost. Like, he dressed up as Casper and it's not even Halloween yet. And Dalton Schultz is already, donning the Casper outfit. So I would try to hold him, but I would be too hesitant to play him even with Dak back this week.
Congratulations, because you just got Chris to shake his head in dismay. He did not care for your dad joke this early in the afternoon. All right, before we get to your questions, and again, if you've got questions, we've got answers, drop them in the chat, but you can only drop them in the chat if you're a subscriber to Fantasy Pros. So go do that. Subscribe to Fantasy Pros, drop a question, and guess what? You might win this Justin Jefferson autographed jersey. Boom, there it is. Thanks to our good pals at pristineauction.com. Again, subscribe, like the video, drop a question or a comment in the chat, and just like that, you could win. All you got to do is click that little bell for notifications till it goes ding, so you know every time a piece of content drops. And if you are the winner, I wish I could win that jersey because everybody knows that's my favorite dude, but I can't. It's just whatever, rules, fine. All right, let's get to your questions here and see if we can help you guys out here. Ben S, Tua, Geno, Aaron Rodgers, or Goff rest of season. That's a lot of quarterbacks to choose from. I love the matchup for Aaron Rodgers this week against the Commanders. I have said that publicly. But rest of season, is Tua the best of this lot or somebody else, Andrew?
I'm taking Tua. I mean, I just think that with the weapons he has, we're seeing Skylar Thompson, Teddy Bridgewater put up like these monster games because they have Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. So Tua looked good for his injury, and that's who I'm going to be rolling with.
Next on the board here is Idris Mite. Start Tyler Lockette or Rondale Moore in the flex position. Lockett's been very solid this year. I know Rondale is a good theoretical start this week, but not over Lockette, right, Andrew?
No, not over Lockette. I mean, Rondale, I was like really aggressive ranking him, and I was like, I need to pump the brakes, especially in half PPR scoring. Just like, he doesn't have a lot of touchdown equity, which really drives a lot of production. So, I mean, Rondale Moore, I feel pretty comfortable saying like, all right, 6 for 60. Like, he's probably going to get that tonight. But Tyler Lockette has the 120, 2 touchdowns. Like, that's just not really in Rondale Moore's range of outcomes. So, yeah, Tyler Lockette for me.
Let's get to KingFan333, Taysom Hill or Hurst. Now, it does look like Dalton is going to play. It seems to be trending in that direction as of all the early reports today. That being said, does that make it another Taysom Hill opportunity?
I mean, yeah, I think I'd probably start Taysom Hill.
I would agree.
Just like roll with it. As long as there's less quarterbacks that they can go to, the chances of Taysom Hill taking snaps under center increases. Like Dalton was on the injury report this week. So, and Adam Troutman is hurt. So there's just less guys that they can feature in the offense, which means theoretically there should be more opportunities for Taysom Hill to basically not to actually catch passes and play tight end, but to take carries and throw passes. So yeah, I'm Taysom Hill.
Remember 2 years ago when the fantasy community couldn't just stop talking about Adam Troutman for the entire summer? Remember that? That was cool. And then before that, it was the tight end for the Bears. It used to be with the Eagles.
Well,
oh, God.
So basically,
what was his name?
Basically the God.
You know what I'm talking about? Yeah.
Yeah, he was on the Eagles, right?
And now you can't even remember his name.
Trey Burton.
Trey Burton, yes. Every year, the fantasy analyst community at large picks a tight end to fall in love with that's going to ruin your fantasy team.
Oh, so this year's Albert Okwebunam.
And this year it was Albert L. This year was every year there's. I did a tweet about this. I got to find it and share it with you. It's great. Let's go to Cupcake. That's a clever name. I like that one. That's fun. Romeo Dobbs or Devin Duvernay this week?
Dobbs for me. Good matchup.
Too
and
good of a
Rashod
matchup,
Bateman's coming back for the Ravens, I believe.
Jonathan Craig. You know, my dad said never trust a man with two first names. Do I drop Eagles for Jets defense during the bye week or just hold?
I mean, the Eagles have like a really good schedule coming up too, and they've just been so good as a DST. I got to see what else you would potentially drop. I mean, if the Eagles get dropped, they're going to get picked up because they have such a great schedule.
Yeah, look, I imagine if it's the bottom person on your roster you're dropping, then you do it because here's the thing. You have to wonder, I'm starting the Eagles every single week. Is that other guy I'm going to drop going to see the light of day? And if the answer is no, then there you go. Then you go ahead and you pick up the Jets and you hold the Eagles, and then you hope you can get that other player back. Or you go make a 2-for-1 trade and open up a roster spot and improve somewhere else. Legos is next. Start Courtland Sutton or Brandin Aiyuk. All right, Mr. Courtland Sutton fan, Mr. Number 1 Courtland Sutton fan, him or Brandin Aiyuk this week?
It depends on if Russell Wilson plays. I mean, if Russell Wilson doesn't play, I'm not.
Let's say Russell Wilson's playing. Let's say that.
I mean, do you think that's going to happen though? Like he's day to day with a hamstring injury.
I feel like when he wins, he won't have an injury, but every time he loses, a new one will crop up. That's kind of what my feeling is on Russell Wilson right now.
I mean, he got an MRI. Like clearly he actually had an injury.
You want an MRI? I get you an MRI by the end of the day. Chris, I want you to go write a script out for an MRI. I'm going to tell Christopher, there you go. You want an MRI? I got a guy. But seriously, I mean, Sutton or Aiyuk at this point.
If Wilson is playing, then yeah, I'm going to start Sutton.
All right. The Cosmic Realm. Start Romeo Dobbs or Hunt this week in the full PPR flex. Need the upside.
Dobbs for me.
Dobbs. All right. There's your upside. Patrick Pollock. Lazard or Rondale Moore? This is Lazard for me all the way. He's been so consistent. It's a great matchup. I'm not straying from Allen Lazard. Are you, Andrew Erickson?
No, as Matthew Friedman pointed out on Twitter in a great tweet, Lazard has either a touchdown or 100 receiving yards in every single game this year. So it's hard to beat that.
One of Joey P's must-haves for 2022. I remember it well. Let's go to the next guy here. It is John. Should I trade Amon-Ra for Aaron Jones in the full PPR? Well, I mean, it depends on what's left in your RB situation, John, after you deal Aaron Jones. If you really have legitimate depth at RB, I think this is a really good value. So I guess we have to do this in a vacuum here. So, Erickson, does this trade something that you think is a good deal for John here?
I think I'd rather have Amon-Ra. I mean, Aaron Jones has had one good game. Like, and what is going to change about this offense that he's not going to just, stumble into a bunch of volume. They're continuing to not use him in the passing game, even though everyone said that they were because Devontae Adams wasn't on the team anymore, but that's not how things work. So, I mean, Amon-Ra, every time he's on the field, he just produces. Like, and if it wasn't for the ankle injury, like, you wouldn't be able to get this trade done, potentially. Like,
Amon-Ra wouldn't. Yeah, and I inverted it. That's my bad. I'm on the Amon-Ra St. Brown side as well. Yeah. So you're trading Amon for Aaron Jones. So that's my bad. Yeah, I'm in agreement with Erickson there. Don't do that. Bad idea. The captain, James T. Kirk, Olave or Bateman if Bateman plays?
I think I'm still going to just roll with Olave.
Yeah, I mean, Olave against Arizona.
Monster target share. Like, so the only reservations I have about Olave are the Cardinals defense. What we saw last week, like they're pretty good against the perimeter. Like they're good against downfield targets. That's why Lockette and Metcalf didn't really do a lot because it was all underneath stuff. That's why Arizona also sucks against tight ends because it's all yards after the catch. And Olave, he's a very good separator, good downfield receiver. not a yak guy. Like, he's not someone that creates
No,
a
that's
lot of
fair.
yards after the catch. So
I just don't
still
think
like
you can play Bateman too first week back.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely more risky. I think Olave still has a safe floor. I mean, he has a 30% target share in the offense, and there's no other receivers on the Saints. So, yeah, I think Olave is the safer play.
All right, Chris, this next one's for you. Ayo Johnson wants to know Jeff Wilson or Travis Etienne in the full PPR.
I don't really like Jeff Wilson this week. I don't. We saw his scary floor last week in a game that they fell behind. The 49ers defense is real banged up. The Chiefs are going to put up points, and that sucks for Jeff Wilson. Whereas Etienne, like, the breakout game is just like, it's brewing. Like,
And the Giants certainly, I mean, statistically speaking, they haven't been great against the run this year. So Etienne's going to catch passes. Jeff Wilson is not. In terms of touchdown equity, Wilson probably has more, but it is a tough matchup here. We're negative game script against Kansas City this week. So I think it's Etienne. I don't think it's hard.
Yeah, Etienne for me.
All right. Andrew wants to know from Andrew. My goodness. Worlds are colliding. Full PPR. 2, please. Hunt, Stevenson, Dillon, CEH. Pick 2.
I'm going to go with Stevenson. I don't even care if Damian Harris plays. Like, Stevenson for me. And then probably going to go with CEH. Again, the 49ers matchup is, like, difficult on paper. But, like, as I said, a lot of injuries on their defensive front, their secondary, like, all over the place. And I still think the Chiefs are going to move the ball against them. And that means CH has a chance to score.
All right, let's take a quick look at our Discord touchdown call leaderboard, because in first place, Hart is 24K, has 29 TDs, and is leading the pace. And you're saying to yourself, Joe, what are you talking about? Well, I'm glad you asked. This is our touchdown call contest, which is available on our Discord at fantasypros.com/chat. So you can go ahead and join this, and you could say, oh, well, I'm behind. It's no good. No. There's weekly winners too, where you get free stuff from our Fantasy Pro shop, t-shirts, hats, whatever you want to spend it on. You get $25 in cash at our shop to go ahead and spend. And you also potentially get into the jersey giveaway. You see that Diggs jersey? We're giving that one away. So go to fantasypros.com/chat. It's free to join, but as premium members, you can go to fantasypros.com/offers, make a deposit. And then when you do, you can upgrade to the premium 6 free months of the premium product at My Playbook at Fantasy Pros. And you could also join the touchdown call contest, as well as stages and AMAs and lots of fun channels there. I think Andrew Erickson has a cooking show on there too. It's a lot of fun. Let's get to the next question on the board here. My name is Jeff. Alec Pierce or Curtis Samuel?
I'm going to go with Alec Pierce, probably. I think he's got way more upside. You know, we don't know what to expect from Curtis Samuel with Taylor Heineke under center. You know, he's been the target leader the entire season, but that hasn't resulted in a lot of boom games. So we don't know if that's going to continue with Heineke under center. And whereas Pierce has been the last 4 weeks, like, averaging over 60 receiving yards per game. It's a good matchup against the Titans. So I would probably roll with the rookie and fade away from, like, I know you like this game, the Washington Packers game, but, like,
I do. I like
both
chaos.
teams still run, like, really, really slow. So maybe one or two guys gets there.
That's why I like it in DFS, because I don't think anyone else is going to like it enough, and I do, and it's cheap. So it allows me to go get CeeDee Lamb and Devontae Adams and Josh Jacobs all in the same lineup. It allows me to do everything I want to do, and I want to do those kind of things. So that's why I like it this week. But I'll ask you this question. If Alec Pierce did not have that touchdown at the end of the game, do we feel as confident in that decision?
I mean, he was still producing, but it wasn't just like 1 week. Like, entering last week,
he produced 2 weeks, but then it was awful quiet, and then that touchdown catch really kind of saved his day. Let's be honest.
I mean, yeah, it was one big play that he made, but, you know, he was still making. It wasn't just the last 2. I mean, it's been basically since week 3 that he's been producing in the Colts offense, and it's a good matchup still. It's just like, you know, what is so enticing about Curtis Samuel? It's like, oh, he's like clearly the better start. I guess that's my issue with Samuel.
It's not
trying
clear,
to find.
But you were so quick to Pierce. I just want to ask the question. I'm not saying I even disagree with you. I just want to ask the question.
Yeah, I agree. It is Pierce.
I'm agreeing, but I just want to know why. I want to poke. That's my job. I ask the questions, like Roddy Piper used to say. Every time they think they know the answers, I change the questions. Let's get to Tracy Lee, Jeff Wilson, Juju, or Romeo in the flex.
I think this one I'll still go with Jeff Wilson.
I think this is where you go with Jeff Wilson and take your 15 for 75 and a touchdown and get out. Jaden Butler, although last week was not great. Jaden Butler, help me. James Robinson or Diontae in the PPR?
I mean, Miami's secondary is really banged up, and I still don't know. Like, do we know if Kenny Pickett's going to play? Like, he's practicing.
He's practicing, so I believe that's where it's trending. So let's live in a world where he is playing.
Yeah, I mean, if I know that Kenny Pickett is going to play, then I would probably start James Robinson because I think it's a better matchup for him against the Giants. But if it's Trubisky, like when Trubisky was starting, like Diontae in the beginning of the season had a much higher target share in the offense. So I feel better about Diontae if it's actually is Trubisky on his turn because he's going to get more targets. Or at least that's what we saw in the beginning of the season. So that's the caveat for me.
All right. Next on the list is Justin Jeffords, Bucs defense or Pats defense this week.
I mean, I'm playing whoever against PJ Walker. Like I'm playing the Buccaneers defense. You know, Joe. Like you've seen the Patriots play mobile quarterbacks enough to realize that sometimes they do give them fits, and for some reason Belichick struggles against rushing quarterbacks. Don't know why, because they probably play. It's because they play a lot of man coverage. So I think that the Bucs are just. I mean, PJ Walker, this Carolina Panthers offense, like, is no threat.
Well,
like,
it might be
whatsoever.
Sam Darnold. Still time for Sam Darnold.
I mean, if Sam Darnold's going to at least push the ball down the field, like that gives you a chance for more interceptions and sacks as opposed to PJ Walker, who's -1 air yards for Walker last week. -1.
That's not good. That is not good statistically. I'm gonna still lean the Patriots D. The Patriots D has been very good. You know me, I was all over them last week against Cleveland, and that worked out in spades. It was great. I just think that the Bears are going to be completely outclassed here. Like this is just not going to be pretty. Justin Fields is easy to confuse enough right now with some of the stuff I've seen him go. You absolutely did give me some of the food for thought. You're 100% right what you said, but I'm still going to go with the Patriots D here this one because I think there's opportunity for not only turnovers, but there's also opportunity here for low scoring. I think that's a good combination there. Jeremiah Double J Jarrett, I love that. Bateman or London this week.
Man, if only I could tell Jeremiah how many times the Falcons would throw, because then I could definitely give him a better answer. I mean, I like Rashod Bateman. I think that I know he's coming back from the injury, but they need him. They need him to get this Ravens passing game back on track. We've seen Lamar struggle the last 3 weeks without Bateman in the lineup, and it's a beatable matchup against the Browns. So if Bateman is a full participant in practice, I know he returned on Wednesday, so I feel good about Bateman, whereas London, yeah, he's going to get targets, but if the Falcons can run the ball, which I think they can do against the Bengals, it's a mute point where it's like sick. 5 catch, like there's just not enough there for me where Bateman, I think, has way more upside attached to Lamar Jackson.
All right. Let's go to the next one here on the list. We've got Bat Mac Gaming. What's good, y'all? Cooks or Jeudy rest of season? Ugh. This is
Oh my God. That was my exact response. I mean, like, Jeudy has been so bad. Like, oh my God. Like, he just looks bad. And then Cooks has the Davis Mills issue. So I don't know. I don't want either of them for the rest of the season. Can that be one of my answers? I mean, I guess Cooks, like, he's way more established. He's produced. Like, Jerry Jeudy still hasn't produced at the NFL. Like, we're still waiting for him to do something. So I'll go with Brandin Cooks.
I'm hoping that Cooks gets traded.
Yeah,
that's what I'm hoping for.
So Cooks,
because if Cooks gets traded, then I think he immediately becomes the guy I prefer because in theory he's going to a better offense and a better spot. But it is a tough one here. My confidence is just done with the Denver Broncos. It was done last week, so this week was no news flash for me. I think I'd roll the dice with Cooks right now, and if I could, I would just hold and wait this decision for another week or two to see if there's any clarity here, because Houston's just getting off the bye here, and after this game, when they lose again, perhaps we will see a trade. I think we'll see some action here in the trade deadline there. All right, let's go to James Shank. Start 2, and who's the flex? Taylor, Eno, Etienne, and Pollard. If Taylor's playing, you have to play Taylor, correct?
Yeah. I just saw a report that said that Taylor was the one that he made the call to not play last week. So I'm happy to hear that, because it means that, hey, coach, I'm not 100%. Like, I don't want to get re-injured. Don't play me. Mm-hmm. So that gives me confidence. Like, okay, like he is coming back at 100%, because when these guys come back from these ankle injuries too early,
yeah,
just
Saquon 2 years ago, terrible. All right, so we have him in. Who else are we gonna have? Not Eno, right? After last week, is it Etienne or Pollard or both? I guess
Eno got the work last week. Like, he was a every down back, and he didn't score, and that's the reason why he didn't
looked a lot like James Conner. Getting all the work and no productivity.
still, I mean, he's going to get more touches than both Etienne and Tony Pollard. But I'm
All
not
right, so
going to.
who's the odd man out?
So it'd
You
be
gotta
Etienne
sit
for
one.
me. It'd be Etienne for me.
No, see, I'm playing Etienne against the Giants. Eno would be the
You're
odd guy
you're
out
not
for
going
me.
to play Pollard against the Lions.
I am. Eno's the odd man out for me. I told you. I've had it.
He played one game.
It's fine. I've watched James Conner all year do nothing too with all that same volume they get. They're not good. They are a bad football team. Just keeping it real. Stephon Holmes, Gordon or Dobbs for RB2 this week. Or Dobbins, excuse me. Dobbins, I don't think he's going to play. It doesn't seem to be trending in that direction. So you might have no choice but Gordon, right, Andrew?
Yeah, I don't know what the status of Dobbins is with his injury. I mean, if I had to pick between these two guys, I'm going to take Dobbins because he plays on a good offense. And I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I have no idea what Gordon could start the game. Gordon started last week too, and then he didn't play the rest of the game. So the fact that the coach is saying he's going to start, like,
apparently they all got together and had brunch or something. Like him and Hackett all got together. They had a big chat and a big powwow. So we'll see. Do you think anything's going to come of that? Because I don't. I really don't. I think that is completely overblown. But I don't think Dobbins is going to play. So Stephon, you need to come up with something different here. RB, Eno or Kenyon Drake. Again, we don't have clarity, so you have to almost play Eno tonight because you don't want to wait to get this answer, correct? I mean, it sucks because Kenyon Drake had a great week and has a great matchup this week, but can't necessarily go down that road if he's not playing and all of a sudden Dobbins is. So this is very tricky here.
Yeah, no, I'm going to play Eno here.
All right, let's get to Treasure Hog. Bye-week Blues need a PPR flex. We've got Noah Brown, we've got Duvernay, and Antonio Gibson. Yuck.
I think I'd probably going to go with, man, this one is definitely tough for me. I can't trust Gibson because I don't know what his role is going to be. Noah Brown is the third receiver for the Cowboys behind Gallup and Lamb. I probably just play Duvernay. I mean, he's still going to play, and if Bateman's limited, then yeah, I play Duvernay.
Dylan Steele, JK, Juju, Clyde, Etienne need one PPR flex.
Etienne,
there you go. Logan Sparks, trade Ramondre and Mike Williams for DK and Walker.
Yeah, I mean, that seems fine to me. And really, right now, I think it's a fair trade, but,
Ramondre's going to crush you on the bye week, though, when Seattle's on a bye.
Yeah,
that's the one thing I will say. That week is going to suck. That's the only thing I'm going to say. Like, you have to take that into account. Depending on what your record is, like, that could be an L. That might be an automatic L that week.
Yeah.
Depending on how deep your league is.
That's very fair. But not considering that, I mean, I think that's a fair trade right now. And if Damian Harris comes back, that's just going to limit what Ramondre can do potentially. So the fact you can get Walker, who doesn't have any backfield competition anymore, and Mike Williams and DK, I think is pretty flat across the board. I'd probably even say DK might be better, with Keenan Allen coming back. So yeah, give me the DK Walker side.
All right, let's go to Dean Mansauer. Jimmy G or Russell Wilson this week?
Jimmy G.
Jimmy G.
I'm close for me.
I mean, he was QB9 2 weeks in a row, Jimmy G. I know it's not pretty, but it's there.
Don't watch the game.
Yeah, just don't watch it. Like, that's one of those rare instances where we always say, it's more than just the stats. You should watch the games. You can see what's going on. At least watch the highlights. Don't watch. It can only ruin your impression of what Garoppolo is doing. Let's go to Joshua Mann, Mike Williams, Courtland Sutton, or Lockett in the flex half PPR.
Mike Williams.
Yes.
Like, ding, guys, ding, like ding. He had the.
Well, I can understand Lockett for the floor. I mean, Lockett's a good floor player. He really is. He's been very solid this year.
Yeah, but I mean, don't jump off the Mike Williams bandwagon. I mean, he got Patrick Surtain. Like, people got to realize that the number one receiver when they play the Broncos, you don't play that guy. Like, I talked about this last week with Mike Williams. It was like, dude, Surtain is so freaking good. So yeah, but he does not play Surtain this week. So Mike Williams.
Corey McEwen, sit one from this list. Wide receiver London or Sutton or Cooks or Lazard. Who's the one out? I think it's Cooks, right?
Yeah, either Cooks or London for me. Yeah, I'm going to keep Sutton and Lazard in there. Probably sit Cooks, yeah.
Yeah, I'd probably sit Cooks too. Joel Hayes, Wan'Dale Robinson or Bateman this week? This is an interesting one. I love Bateman, but to me, I'm in the show me mode with Bateman. And like, it's not that Wan'Dale is a great option. I think if I'm playing from behind, I would go and just throw Bateman out there and hope for the best. But if I'm just in a close matchup, I think that I would just take Wan'Dale and hope that I could just kind of eke out some points. But how do you see these two?
I mean, I still prefer Bateman. I think Wan'Dale just has like a cap ceiling. Like he's a guy that's
Sure.
going to get a couple. Like he just reminds me a lot of Rondale Moore, where it's like 6 for 60. Like yes, like that's what I got from Wan'Dale. Maybe he scores, maybe he doesn't. But Bateman, I'm getting Gabriel Davis vibes, where he had a couple down games because the ankle injury, comes back healthy and then blows up. I think Bateman has a blow up game potentially this week against the Browns. So I'm going to chase the upside with Bateman.
All right. Justin Jefferson, by the way, is on a bye this week, so you can't play him. But that doesn't matter. We like to keep Justin Jefferson alive on this show at all times. So if you would like to win a Justin Jefferson autographed jersey from Pristine Auction, there's only one way to do it, and that is be a subscriber to Fantasy Pros. Like the stream. Then go ahead and drop a comment or a question, and you will be automatically entered to win this incredible, glorious, purple and white, magnificent autographed jersey from pristineauction.com. Again, don't forget to like the stream as well. We appreciate you liking the stream. And don't forget to click that little bell for notifications till it goes ding, so you know if you are the big winner. And every time a piece of content drops, because we got all the pods on here, we got all the live streams on here, the Sunday live streams, we've got the short form videos, we've got amazing stuff here on the YouTube channel. So go check that out. Next is Kyle Clark. Kyler tonight against the Saints, or Tua Sunday night against the Steelers?
I'm playing Kyler.
Okay. Why? Just out of curiosity, why the confidence? Just because Hopkins is back?
Well, Hopkins is back. The Saints defense has looked horrible, and they're also injured all over the place. I think that they're going to just jam targets to DeAndre Hopkins. And one of the issues with Kyler in this offense is the red zone. Like they're horrible in the red zone. And what do you know? Put the 6'4" wide receiver with giant hands, and he's going to help fix that problem. They also don't have a kicker. Like Matt Prater's hurt, so they may just go for it a lot and just throw the ball to Hopkins in the red zone. And I think that he'll make plays. So I like Kyler.
Here's our best friend, Jennifer Hafner. Hey guys, Saints or Giants D? Joe and Friedman are high on the Saints D, but Debro and Pat are higher on the Giants D this week. So which side is right? Andrew, you're the tiebreaker for Jennifer.
Oh, God.
No pressure. Don't screw up.
You and Freeman are high on the Saints D against Cardinals. And then Debro, Pat are higher on the Giants D against the Jacksonville Jaguars. I mean, I'm probably going to lean towards the Saints defense. I mean, I think, even with Hopkins back, Kyler just takes a lot of sacks anyway. That offensive line for Arizona is also pretty banged up. So, yeah, I think I'm probably going to go with the Saints. And I also kind of like knowing like how they do. It can help me make more strategic decision with my lineup for the rest of the week. So if Saints D goes up, puts up a goose egg, okay, now I need to shoot for more upside. Let's go. Saints D has a massive game. Oh, great. Now I can just play floor guys the rest of the way. So if it's close like that, I almost kind of like to play the team or unit that plays first. So I just know more information with my roster.
Chris Utterbach. Hey guys, in a tough but good spot. Do I sit Hopkins tonight? I have Adams, Waddle, Higgins, and Kirk as well. I'm kind of inclined to see Hopkins over Kirk this week. How about you?
We're going to talk about it on the podcast, but not high on Christian Kirk this week. So DeAndre Hopkins, play DeAndre Hopkins over Kirk.
There you go, Chris. Dwan Durr has a question. Alec Pierce or Rondale Moore, full PPR?
Full PPR, I like Rondale Moore.
Different person, same question. Kyle Atisha. Do we trust Dak? Start Dak over Trevor Lawrence? I would start Dak this week against the Lions because I do trust the Lions defense to give me fantasy points because they never fail. They just never fail. That's what I trust.
I mean, Dak is right. I think in the ECR, he's QB7. The Cowboys have, I think, the second highest implied team total. Like Vegas thinks that they're going to put up a ton of points. And if Dak Prescott's the starting quarterback, chances are he's probably going to have something to do with it. So I'm going to play Dak.
Rick Iwaski, Godwin or Hopkins in the PPR?
Oof, that one's close. I'm still gonna play Chris Godwin. I think that the Brady and the Buccaneers have to get on track at some point. It seems like this Carolina team that just looks horrible. It seems like they got to get the pass game going. So I'll go with Godwin.
I don't know, man. I do not feel good about this one. I don't. That's just something off about that whole Buccaneers team this year. So something ain't right. Chad G. Should I trade away Miles Sanders and Cooks for Metcalf and Singletary? So Sanders and Cooks go, getting back Metcalf and Singletary.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty a good deal. I think
it's
Sanders
an upgrade in wide receiver as a downgrade in running back. I mean,
I guess the way I view it is I think that the difference in Metcalf versus Cooks is greater than the difference in Miles Sanders. I don't think Miles Sanders and Singletary are really that much different. I think that the gap is bigger between Metcalf and Cooks, so that's why I would
That's
prefer
agreeable.
the Metcalf and Singletary side.
Agreed. I approve that message. Roland O, half PPR, Drake London or Michael Gallup this week?
Dude, I keep moving Michael Gallup up the rankings every time I check him.
Come on.
Giddy up, baby. Let's go, Michael Gallup.
Let's go. All the Cowboys in. Kyle Miller, start Burrow or Herbert?
It's a good problem to have between these two guys. I'm going to start Joe Burrow, though. I think that this Bengals offense is starting to finally click, where the Chargers are still trying to figure out, get guys healthy. So I'll lean slightly towards Burrow.
Here's another one of our friends, Cali Music. Hi, guys. Thanks for all you do. Thanks for Cali for hanging out with us. Pick 2, full PPR. Brandin Cooks, Aiyuk, or Rondale Moore?
Aiyuk and Rondale Moore.
Agreed. That's exactly where I was going. Lucilo Torres. Hey, Ramondre Stevenson or Kenneth Walker as RB2 this week? Ooh, this is a tough one.
Ramondre for me.
Yeah, Ramondre, but ooh, that is tough. I'd get Kenneth Walker in that flex spot if I could. Philly special.
Trade Ramondre. Trade him.
Why?
Do that.
Why you want to trade Ramondre?
Because you can't. You don't want to sit Kenneth Walker. You want to play both of them. So if you can't, you got to trade one. I last week I ran into this problem where I had Jonathan Taylor on my bench. I couldn't start him, so I had to trade him for Ja'Marr Chase, and it worked out.
Well, that worked out. Philly special. Who should I start in the flex? Aiyuk, Pollard, or Curtis Samuel?
I'm gonna go with Pollard.
Yeah, I like Pollard as well. Skilly, what should I do with Sutton, fellas? Well, I'm going to sit back and let Erickson handle this one because he's the Courtland Sutton guy. All the metrics are there, but none of the productivity. So what do you do?
But that's not true. Like, he was wide receiver 15.
He's got 1 touchdown. He's wide receiver 21. Okay, it's fine.
What? Yeah, like that is fine. Like, what people are writing him off as like he's sucked all year. It's like that's not true at all. Like, wide receiver 15 entering last week, and this was his one bad game he's had, despite Russell Wilson playing horrible in all of his games. So I think that if he doesn't have Russell Wilson, then obviously that hurts him the most, even despite how bad Wilson is playing. So, I mean, I would be a buyer of him. I'm not trying to say that I'm dying into take lock here, but he still has a super high target share. Jerry Jeudy has done nothing to think that he's going to be taking over as the number 1 receiver in this offense. So,
that's not where I'm going with it. I just think this offense is dead. I think the Broncos are DOA.
You think they're just going to suck all year? They're never going to have good games.
I think the Raiders are going to have a better record and be a better offense going forward than the Broncos. And I don't think that's a hot take.
No, I mean, I mean, the Raiders have been a better offense, I think, all year anyway. So
yeah, I'm just saying, like, if you want pieces, I'd rather have pieces of that offense. Look, you're kind of in a bad spot with Sutton because it's hard to trade him right now.
Yeah, I wouldn't trade him now. Like, that doesn't make any sense.
You know, I'll ask you this: would you rather have DK Metcalf rest of the season or Courtland Sutton?
I mean, right now, I'd probably, like, just based on this past week, I'd probably rather have Metcalf because I don't know what Russell Wilson's. But you're not gonna be able to trade Sutton for Metcalf. So
no,
that's what I mean. So it's like it's a moot point. Like what? So what do I do with Sutton? It's like you got to hold until he has a good game.
Yeah, but if you give Sutton in a small piece, or you can help somebody during a bye, or DK's on a bye, and you move Sutton to that team, and you've got there's ways to make it work. There's ways to penny pinch your way out of Courtland Sutton if you're clever. If you want to get out, and I would get out at this point. I just don't think it's going to, and it's not his fault. Like I'm not blaming Courtland Sutton. I'm blaming the coaching, and I'm blaming Russell Wilson. That's what I'm blaming. Ryan Muckler, sit 1. Matt Ryan, Jimmy G, Jared Goff.
Sit 1. I'm sitting Jared Goff.
Yeah, I think so too, especially against the Dallas Cowboys. Clark something. Please, please, please. 2 wide receivers in a flex, PPR, Debo, Hill, Waddle, Hopkins, and Stevenson. So 2 wide receivers and a flex. Well, you can't take Hill and Waddle out. I'm sorry, you just can't do that. So who do you want to go after that?
I mean, you can't. I mean, I could take Waddle out for Debo.
Okay, so you're going to play Hopkins and Stevenson over Waddle?
I'm going to play Debo, Hill, and Stevenson.
Debo, Hill, and Stevenson. I would play Debo, Hill, and Waddle. But
you're not going to play a running back that finishes RB2 last week against the Bears?
In PPR, I love Stevenson. I mean, look, I'm not saying it's a bad play. You can.
I just don't.
To be honest with you, I don't love Debo this week.
Why?
I don't know. I just something.
You don't like Debo. Debo doesn't like George Kittle somehow. I need to figure out why he doesn't. I'm very interested.
Well, I think the same answer. It's just like our lack of faith in Jimmy Garoppolo to do anything right. I think that's probably what it comes down to.
I guess that's fair.
And that's fair. It's fair. This is an embarrassment of riches. The safe way to go is probably to play Debo, Hill, and Stevenson. Andrew is correct, but
huzzah!
I can't.
But I don't feel great of it.
I don't
It's
like. I don't like sitting Jalen Waddle. Like he's just too good.
I
of
mean,
a
if you
talent.
want, I guess you could argue a safer play would be to play both Dolphins receivers because the chances of them both not doing well is very, very unlikely. I mean, they've both done well in most of their games, but
Well, that's
at
what I'm
least you get
saying.
one of them
Hill,
to pop
Waddle, and
off.
Stevenson. How I wanted to go, personally. Like
Yeah,
I
I
just
guess
wanted.
that makes sense. But I mean, I
That
think
that was
Debo
my
is.
inclination, and it's not a knock on Debo. It's the way that your roster is structured. Like you're tied into the Dolphins, so you might as well go in for the Dolphins. But having Hill and Waddle, this is the problem. Like this is kind of the issue here, where you have to make these decisions, and it
I guess
becomes
for
tough.
me, it's like I would rather have Debo than Waddle straight up. So I'm just gonna go with Debo.
That's fine. Justin Peterson, Dak or Kyler this week?
I think I'll probably start Kyler. It's close, but
Jets or Dolphins DST stream?
Jets. I mean,
Jets.
and they
Agreed.
until Denver shows us
Dude.
something different, like, and the Jets defense is like
Jets defense, dude. I had the Jets defense everywhere last week on FanDuel and on DK. It was beautiful. It's beautiful. I had the Jets defense and the Seahawks defense, and it was magnifico. I loved it. And the Jets defense is just better than people give. Quinn Williams has been brilliant up front.
Yeah.
CJ Mosley has been really good at the linebacker position, and Sauce has been terrific. There's not a lot of defenses that can claim somebody at each three levels of the defense. That doesn't exist on a lot of teams. The Jets have that right now.
Yeah.
That's huge. Now, they don't have a quarterback, but at least they've got a defense right now. Grady wants to know, hello from Jordan. Wow, look at us. Big time all over the place. Pick 2 for Flex PPR, Brian Robinson, Tony Pollard, Drake London, or Jamal Williams.
I think I'm going to go with
PPR Flex.
Tony Pollard and Brian Robinson.
All right, I agree. Jacob F., Montgomery or Brian Robinson rest of season? I'm going Robinson.
I agree. Robinson.
Oh, I did not think you would. That's fun. One ton. Flex Mike Gesicki or Michael Carter? I don't know if you can really chase Mike Gesicki from last week.
I don't want to do. I mean, unless Durham Smythe doesn't play again, I would feel better about Mike Gesicki if that happens. But Michael Carter's just a backup running back, and they're playing the Broncos, who their offense sucks, but the Broncos' defense is legit.
Defense is good, yeah.
So I would. I'm gonna just roll the dice with Gesicki.
All right, don't roll the dice with your season, because maybe you are sitting right now at 3-3 or even worse, and maybe you haven't taken advantage of all the tools that we have here at Fantasy Pros, and there's still plenty of time to do that. So download my playbook right now. It is free to download. You download the app from the Google or the Apple store, or you can just go to fantasypros.com/myplaybook, because it's the best suite of tools you will ever find to manage all of your leagues, to dominate your leagues, to set your lineups, to make trades, to make acquisitions, ads, drops, you name it. My playbook can help you do it. And the premium package of tools isn't like anything you'll ever see in the fantasy industry. It is simply the best that you could possibly find. And we all need as much help as we could possibly get. I've got the My Playbook app. It is fantastic. I use it every single day. And it is so helpful because I am in a million different leagues and a million different platforms. And it's just nice to have all the news and everything streamlined right there, so I can go right to my teams and make the changes I need to. Imagine setting all your lineups from one spot. You can do that in My Playbook. So go check that out again at fantasypros.com/myplaybook, or just download the app today. Let's get to more of your questions. Remember, if you've got questions, we've got answers. Be a subscriber. Drop them in the chat. Let's go. Let's go to C Comp 30. Favorite tight end streamer this week? Well, a lot of people have dropped Dalton Schultz, so I'd pick him up and stream him. Anybody for you, Andrew, out there that you're thinking about streaming at tight end?
I like Juwan Johnson for the New Orleans Saints. The
yes,
actual
too. I saw him tweeting about Juwan Johnson earlier today.
The actual starting tight end for the New Orleans Saints. So we know how bad the Cardinals are against tight ends. They're horrible. Juwan Johnson was a full-time player last week. Adam Troutman is hurt. So, I mean, there's Olave, and then who else are they going to throw the ball to? Not Taysom Hill. So I like Juwan Johnson.
Jermaine Burns, CEH, or Kenyon Drake in the PPR?
I'm going with CEH.
Yeah, look, it's a really good matchup for Drake, but can you trust it? That's the problem. Andres Elias, Jackson, or Hines for the Colts?
I thing is, I don't know what the order of how they're going to be used is. Like, I guess I would probably say
Andres. That's why he's asking us.
Jackson. I mean, Jackson did more last week than Hines has ever done in a single freaking game.
And how about in the season? It was
So
very impressive. He got 10 of 10 targets for
if I got to
God's
play one of them, like I'm just gonna hope that the coaches are like, man, like Deion Jackson, like this guy got it done last week. Let's roll him out again.
sake.
I mean, he's off the injury report, so yeah, Jackson.
I would roll with Dion too. John Sacco, trade Ramondre and Lazard for Dalvin Cook. I don't think you do.
I would want to trade Dalvin Cook for Ramondre and Lazard.
There you go. So don't do this trade. Tech Deep, trade Sutton for ATN in a PPR.
If you want a running back, then yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I'm cool with this. Precision Building, is Waller playing this week? Don't believe so.
I mean, when you come off a bye week and you don't practice, that's a red flag that he's probably not going to play. So I would try to maybe, talk about tight end streamers. If you want to wait, Foster Moreau, you can always try to add him as the backup. But he's also been dealing with an injury too. So you're maybe better off just streaming a different tight end, Dalton Schultz, Juwan Johnson, etc.
On Discord, we had some discussions about Waller last night. I'm of the mind that if you could trade him just for Evan Ingram or Hayden Hurst or Dalton Schultz right now, I would do that and just get out of the business because it feels like Waller's another one of these guys that just never plays. I just can't do this anymore.
I think to an overarching point with these guys that are dealing with some of these injuries is the minute that they get hurt, just try to trade them away. And look, it's not going to always work. Like it's not going to be 100% hit rate, but so far this year, if you traded Michael Thomas, the minute that he got hurt, you would have benefited from it. If you had traded Waller, the minute he got hurt, you would have benefited. Like, just let someone else deal with the injury problem. And yes, will they come back eventually and be healthy, like with a Jonathan Taylor?
Maybe.
Like, maybe, but just let someone else let someone else make that bet. Whereas you can just benefit from having the healthy player on your roster. So you're not going to hit every single time trying to sell injured players because some of them will come back healthy, but a lot of the times they don't. So move off them as soon as you can. So even with like a guy like Marquise Brown, for example, he just got hurt. People are trying to stash him for the season, for the playoff run, etc. We don't know how he's going to come back from a foot injury. What's it going to look like? Are you going to trust him in your fantasy playoffs? Because the Cardinals have a late bye week. So if you're going to trade Marquise Brown at any point, you should probably trade him now because this is when people are looking at him in the most optimistic light. Try to trade him now as opposed to waiting where his value just kind of goes down.
Andre Vaughn, Jacoby Brissett, or Taylor Heineke in the Superflex. Ugly, I know, but I have Hurts on a bye.
I'm going to probably play Jacoby Brissett.
I would agree. John M. trade Rashod Bateman for Gabe Davis. I would say yes, if you can, absolutely. One plays with Josh Allen. I want the guy that plays with Josh Allen.
Wow, Joe, you're throwing shade at Lamar Jackson.
I'm throwing love at Gabe Davis. It is not shade at Rashod.
No, I think, you want to.
Love for Gabe Davis.
Talking about the injured players, it's like trade for the guy that's healthy. Yeah, go Gabe Davis.
Kenneth Kennelty, Carr or Geno this week? I love the Carr matchup against Houston. I'm playing Carr.
Yeah, I'm playing Carr.
It's easy for me. Number one Cubs fan, Everett or Pitts this week?
If Donald Parham doesn't play, Everett is like a top 5 tight end, like locked and loaded. So I would play Everett most likely if Parham's out. Mark
Moore, Gallup or Christian Kirk this week in the full PPR? Here we go.
Gallup.
Landy Meck, start 2 wide receivers, Gallup, Kirk, Dobbs, and Renfro.
Gallup and Dobbs.
Me too. Rick Duffman. The Duffman is here. Oh yeah.
Duffman.
One of the three PPR, Jeff Wilson, Brian Robinson, or Diontae Johnson.
In full PPR, probably Jeff Wilson's probably the safest.
Yeah. Kofi, would it be smart to start Swift and Jamal Williams? That's always a tricky one here. I think if you had no choice because of buys, there's worse things you could do. It's hard not seeing the roster and knowing, but I don't think it's the worst situation. I don't love the matchup, though. The Dallas defense is very good. But if you have no choice, I think it's better than streaming somebody, because I think it's better than Latavius Murray, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm starting to be honest. If that's what you're looking at as an alternative, I think it's fine.
Yeah, I agree.
JB, start 2, Jacoby Myers, Josh Reynolds, DJ Moore.
God, DJ Moore. I'm going to definitely start Myers. I feel good about him. Probably just going to start Josh Reynolds. Whatever.
You know what's funny? We're getting less DJ Moore questions as the season goes on because I think those teams have either made a decision where it's not a question anymore or they're just not relevant. So then now they just don't even want to know. They just don't even care. Chad W, D-Hop or Lazard this week? I'm still starting Lazard this week, but this is a good problem to have. How about you, D-Hop or Lazard?
I was thinking about this and I was thinking about, where are we going to rank DeAndre Hopkins next week? And I have like no doubt in my mind he's going to be like a top 12 wide receiver, which means he's probably going to have a good game tonight. So I'm going with D-Hop.
I think Lazard's been so solid, though, and it's such a good matchup. If Lazard was playing the Broncos D this week, I would have a different tune about this. But I just, or he was playing the Cowboys D, I might have a different tune about this. But against Washington, nah. Brian Luciano, full PPR, Zay Jones or Hunter Renfrow? I'm going Hunter Renfrow here, I think.
Yeah, especially because Waller's probably not going to play, so Renfrow. Yeah.
Coyote J, full PPR, Brandin Cooks, Renfrow or Rondale Moore?
I'm probably going to go with Rondale Moore.
Okay. Josh Polanski. Should I drop Robbie Anderson for Kyren Williams? Yes, I think you should.
Yeah. Robbie Anderson,
have Robbie Anderson.
Yeah. Yeah, Kyren Williams, yeah. You want to stash him.
Darren Wynn, Schultz or Bellinger?
Probably going to play Bellinger.
I'm going with Schultz. I'm you know me. I like chaos. It's the Lions. It's Dak. It's going to be great. And everyone's going to go, oh, great. There's Dalton Schultz. And they're going to be so pissed off. And then Monday, everyone's going to bitch and moan and complain about, I dropped Dalton Schultz. I should never have done that. Blah, blah, blah. You know what's going to happen. We've seen this before. Packer backers trade Mike Williams and A.J. Dillon for Swift. I think this is fair for Swift. I think that's a fair trade.
Yeah, I mean, Dillon has done pretty much nothing.
He hasn't. He's been one of my misses for sure. I'll take the L on A.J. Dillon.
And Mike Williams is obviously a good piece, but you got to trade somebody good to get Swift. So, yeah.
Chris, what are you chirping about in my ear? What do you want? Oh, it's Parker. It's Packer backers. It's actually Parker Backus. I don't know what happened. I'm so used to see, when you're just doing this all day, Parker looks like Packers to me. Like I just think, so I'm sorry, Parker. Parker Backus or Packer backer, whatever. Next one is Deesh, which is exactly what Parker said after I screwed up his name. Deesh. Cooks or Dobbs in the half PPR.
Half PPR. This one's close. Do you have a lean either way, Joe?
Yeah, I'm going Dobbs. I'm playing. I told you.
Well, I know you said you like the. Yeah, I'd probably go Dobbs.
I mean, what are the chances that Cook scores a touchdown? Very little. I think it's like a 30% chance. I think it's more like a coin flip for Dobbs. I think it's like a 30% chance maybe he could get a touchdown. I'm thinking it's like a coin flip for Dobbs. I really do in this game. I think this is the game where Aaron Rodgers opens things up. They simplify the offense, as he was discussing, because you can against Washington. Yeah. And he's going to go out there and drop a good game after laying an absolute turd at home to the Jets and then looking terrible before to the Patriots. And I think everyone's going to be frustrated. They're going to sit Aaron Rodgers, and they're going to be very frustrated. And the Giants, too. Yeah, forgot about that one.
It's been like 3 turds in a row against very beatable teams, and it was like, okay.
Yeah, and I think this is the one where they get right, and everybody who sits all these players will be frustrated.
And then you sell high immediately.
And then you can sell high. You're absolutely 100% right. I would keep Lazard, but I would sell high on Dobbs and Aaron Rodgers, absolutely. Yeah. Brian Harris, trade Courtland Sutton for Mike Evans.
Yeah, I mean, if you can get Mike Evans, then yeah, I'm down for that.
Fluffy Phoenix, full PPR, DJ Moore, Bateman, or Mooney. Start 1.
Bateman has upside, which the other two don't, so Bateman for me.
Concur. All right, let's get to Victor D'Orazio Cruz. Start that one, I could say, but I can't say Parker Bakes. So start Brandin Cooks or Christian Kirk. Here's where I start Kirk, right?
I'm gonna start Cooks.
Still Cooks. Wow, you really hate Kirk this week.
I mean, he's 5 catches in the last 2 games. Like, it's bad.
I know, but that doesn't last forever. You can't be a prisoner of the moment. You can't live in the past. Michael G, drop Jeudy for Romeo Dobbs. If you need to this week, I could see doing it.
I have Jeudy, and I tried to trade for Romeo Dobbs. So, yeah.
Sean Zhang, trade Dalvin Cook for Alvin Kamara.
Yeah, I'd do
that. Jim Walton, would you start Eno Benjamin or Drake London in the PPR?
I would start Eno.
Yeah, I think you got to play the touches with Eno. Miguel Carballo, start Breece Hall over CMC.
I would not do that. Not
this week, especially. Right?
Yeah. I mean, if Breece Hall was playing like the Lions, I'd be like, oh yeah, sure, do it. But I mean, he's playing the Broncos. It's a good defense, and CMC obviously has a tough matchup. But I mean, he's been good this year. Like, he's been productive despite everything happening in Carolina. He catches like 8 passes a game. So yeah, I'm gonna start CMC.
Nick Broderick, James Robinson at the flex, or Michael Gallup in the full PPR.
Gallop.
There you go. All right, Dems 7, AJ Dillon, James Robinson, Mostert, Eno Benjamin, bench 1 in the full PPR. So who's the odd man out? I mean, honestly, for this one, it's probably AJ Dillon the way he's played.
Yeah, AJ Dillon for me.
Riz 97, you guys are the goats. Riz, you're the goats. We love you.
You're the goats.
We love you. We appreciate you guys. Without you guys being here, there is no show. So we appreciate you guys always being here, listening to the shows, watching the shows, being subscribers. We know you have lots of choices, and we appreciate you choose us. So thank you. I need help. Do I trade Dalvin, Madison, Jacoby for Aaron Jones, Brady, and Robert Woods? I don't like Robert Woods. That's not really interesting part. So basically, this is the handcuff of the Vikings backfield and Jacoby Myers for Aaron Jones and Brady. If you need a quarterback, I guess you could make this trade. I don't like the Woods part of it. I don't think that's anything at all.
I don't like this trade just in general.
I don't like the it's.
I don't like either side of it. It's kind of. I guess I'm trying. I mean, I the fact that he has a quarterback here must mean that he's trying to get like a good quarterback.
Right. Maybe this was the Trey Lance person that's still trying to figure things out.
If you need a quarterback, then I think that it's fine. But if that's not really moving the needle and Brady's just kind of like part of the deal and you're trying to get like Aaron Jones, I mean, I think I'd rather just keep Cook and Madison as the Vikings backfield, whereas Aaron Jones, I mean, he's not even the full on starter in his own backfield. So I'd rather have Cook rest of season than Aaron Jones. So
it's just not a good deal. The fact that you have Cook and Madison actually makes Cook more appealing, I think, because you can trade them as a package. So why don't you use Cook and Madison and go get Breece Hall?
Yeah. Yeah. No, do that. Yeah, I agree.
Or get Travis Etienne plus, or do something like that. Like, be clever. This is just kind of moving weird pieces around. R.O. Christian Kirk or Rondale Moore this week. Go.
I think here's probably with Kirk. I mean, if it's a full PPR, I think probably I'll probably just do Kirk regardless.
Mr. Rizzo, trade Damian Pierce and Gabe Davis for Travis Etienne and Mixon. Full PPR, 5-1 in this league. Thanks to you guys. Well, it's really you, Mr. Rizzo, but we're definitely trying to help. All right, Damian Pierce and Gabe Davis for Travis Etienne and Mixon. I don't know. I mean, like, depends on who your number 1 RB is. I mean, Mixon's been frustrating this year. I love getting Etienne. I get this is terms of selling high for Gabe Davis, and with Gabe on a bye this week, if you really need a W, this makes sense too.
But he's 5-1, so he doesn't necessarily need a W. I mean, he's 5-1.
No, but I'm saying if you have bad bye weeks right now, like you have Gabe Davis on a bye, like you kind of need help, like to get a W this week too. Because you go to 6-1, you're a playoff team. Boom. So I guess it really at this point you're kind of looking. Would you rather have in the playoffs Etienne and Mixon or Damian Pierce and Gabe Davis? I think that's really the question we have to ask ourselves.
Yeah. I mean, look, I want to buy Etienne, so I'm going to probably I'll lean towards that side.
Do you think Mixon turns it around eventually though? Because it's been a while now. Like it's been kind of, some stats are encouraging, other stats less so.
I mean, I think that I think he's going
to be. You want to make your argument about when it comes to Mixon.
I think that he's going to be fine the rest of the season. I think that's going to be like when we have the conversation next year about Mixon, to be like, this is a guy you don't want to draft. I think this is kind of like the final year of like we get a good Mixon, and then it's next year where it's like, okay, like we have to look at all the inefficiency.
Well, yeah, like, I mean, 6-year running backs. Oh God, Jacob Glazer, 10-man half PPR. Drop Brandin Cooks for Wan'Dale. No, don't do that.
No,
that's a bad move, bro.
I mean, hey, it's worth asking the question. Wan'Dale's got some steam,
bro. No, this is Wan'Dale. No, you keep Brandin Cooks for now, and you hope it gets traded. Steven Beckstead, give up Sutton and Kamara for Amon-Ra St. Brown.
I mean, you're giving up. I'm surprised you have to give up both those guys. I figure
That's
you could.
Too much.
It seems like you could probably just do Kamara, right? I mean, I would.
Yeah,
I think that's a fair
Kamara
trade.
alone is good, but like I just don't understand. Or Sutton and a lesser running back. You're not getting anything back with Amon-Ra? No, not enough. C. Smith at flex, Mooney or Pickens, 12-man PPR. Well, if you're getting Pickett back, it's Pickens.
Yeah.
Catherine Snyder, Etienne or Lazard in the standard flex.
Lazard has 4 touchdowns this year in 5 games. So Lazard.
Well, yards are yards, everybody. Yards are yards. He's getting you yards. He's getting you touchdown equity. I love Travis Etienne, but I think this week in particular, it's Lazard. Yep. This is a good problem to have, though, Catherine. Billy F. Trade Davis, Bateman, and London for Diggs.
Yeah. I mean, if you can trade just a bunch of wide receiver 3s for Diggs, like, yeah, I'm game.
Well, Gabe Davis isn't a wide receiver 3. How
I
dare
mean,
you?
on the
How
year,
dare you
pretty sure
insult
he is
my
a wide
good
receiver
pal?
3.
He is my good friend, Gabriel Davis. Do not insult him. Do not sully his name here on this stream. All right, that'll do it for us, everybody. Make sure on the way out you like the stream. It's always great to hang out and talk football with all of you. We appreciate your questions. We'll be back again Sunday morning over at 10:30 Eastern. Don't forget, 10:30 Eastern we start. We take you all the way up to 1 o'clock. We've got, 2.5 hours of live streaming content for you, answering your questions, fixing your teams, fixing your fantasy football futures. That's what we're trying to do here. So don't forget to like the stream on the way out. Don't forget to be a subscriber. Like, share, subscribe. Go win that Justin Jefferson jersey. Go download my playbook and have a wonderful rest of your day, everybody. Look at that. There it is, Justin Jefferson. Thanks to our good pals at Pristine Auction. Subscribe. Drop a comment. We love you all. Thanks for hanging out with us. Again, the new pod will be out later this afternoon. We're going to go record that right now. That'll do it for us. But the story of the game goes on for my good pal Andrew Erickson and my best friend Chris. I'm Joey P.